A down low man. Signs you're dating a down low man. A down low man is a man that portrays to be straight but is actually gay on the low. Usually they use women or they talk to women or date women as a mask to hide their real sexuality. Just want to preface this by saying there's nothing wrong with being gay. We love the LGBT community, but men who are down low are extremely dangerous to women. These are some things to look out for. So one, being super secretive, like especially with that phone. If you go grab that phone and you're trying to go through it and he's willing to break down a door and smash a glass window to get to that phone like he has the Krabby Patty secret formula on that phone, just know there is more than women on that phone. That is ridiculous. Sometimes they avoid intimacy or they have trouble being intimate with a woman, trouble getting hard, or on the opposite end, they're overly sexual, overly promiscuous, fucking everything that lives and breathes to overcompensate for what they got going on, the demons that they're fighting, and to convince themselves and others that they are not gay. Men who are hyper masculine, like on a obnoxious, like almost satirical level, like, I'm a manly man, or men who are overly homophobic to the point where it's so extreme where it's almost like, are you okay? Like treating gay people like they are literally disgusting specimens. Like it's unnecessary and over the top. And usually when men are overly homophobic, I immediately think they're gay. And they do it to try to like make you think that you're not gay, but it makes them look even more gay. If you noticed, a lot of down low men have never been in a real relationship with a woman or a long-term relationship with a woman, no real emotional connections with a woman. Why is that? Especially if you're like a grown-ass adult, you've never experienced an emotional connection with a woman, you've never been able to hold a relationship. Why? I feel like men who constantly cheat and lie, or like men who buy prostitutes, they're gay. Like, because I don't know, that's just a personal opinion of mine from experience, but I'm sure there's a ton of other women who can vouch for that specific thing. If he doesn't talk about you guys' future, like there's no talk about marriage, kids, house, picket fence, cars, a business, nothing about your future, and you guys been dating and you're grown, like why have we not been talking about that? Because you're ending up with a man in the future and you know that, right? If you've heard rumors, a lot of...
Hey guys, hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about DL men. I think this is an important topic because this is a big deal that's happening right now. There's a lot of people in marriages, relationships that find out that the men that they're involved with is DL, and it causes a lot of commotion because now there's divorce. They're gonna have to custody issues and all that stuff, or you have been dealing with somebody and then you find out like, something is up. Yeah, it's important to talk about it. If you're a single woman out there that's dating, it's important to keep this in mind. If anything, on my channel, that's what I hope to do with my reaction videos, focus on dating, women, and marriage and stuff like that. It's just to kind of help you to be alert. So DL is pretty much a man that's secretive. They're men that like men, but they hide under being married and having multiple kids and things like that, marriages and all that, because they're hiding. So this is some of the things over time that I've watched and what I've learned that might be useful in knowing and what to look out for DL men. The first thing is they don't like women, and I'm not talking about just like this, like lightly. They don't like women. They have issues with women in their lives, like their moms, their sisters. They have issues with women. Like I knew a guy that I think was a part of was DL because he would constantly go on and on about the type of women he hated, and he would be around me, and I was thinking to myself, what is the issue? So in the end I ended up blocking and not dealing with it, because the way he would say, this woman was over here at the mall looking at me a certain way, he would get so worked up about it. And he was like, there was a time when I was working like 2 jobs, I was moody and I would get mad at my mom, and I was like, okay, whoa, so they don't like women. And with women, and sometimes they're punishing you because they can't go out there and do what they really want to do. So they're mean spirited, like they get very aggressive and things like that. So you have to keep an eye on that. I'm not talking about the typical guy, like a guy's upset with you, whatever. This is like they're constantly trying to make your life a living hell because they're so angry that they're not getting what they want out there. Okay, they're hiding. Okay, Another thing that I think I read that was important is that they're emotionally detached from you. When you come to them crying or you are having emotional issues going on and stuff and you're trying to tell them, they kind of dismiss it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't have that part of them. They're not emotionally like intelligent. They're very detached. So when you come to them complaining and telling them your issues and all that, they become very like, they don't want to hear it. Like, can you not tell me that? They don't say it, but their actions will tell you they don't want to hear that stuff. Like, because they would rather be dealing with another man. Why would they care about your emotions as a woman and your feelings? Okay. The next one is, if you make a joke or you say something about the LGBTQ community, they get defensive. And I'm talking about like they will straight up try to do everything to show you they're not a part of that. They're not a part of that. So if you make a jokes like, oh, they're dressing like very colorful and all that stuff, they get so worked up about it trying to show you that they're not wearing that because of that. They're not wearing that. Like, it's not just a light like joke. Like if you tell like a regular guy like, oh, you're wearing pink, oh, very girly or something like that, they kind of laugh it off like, yeah, a little bit, I like color. They will go straight up like they want to stand with you there and argue with you about it. Why did you say that? Like, it is extreme. Okay, they will go there with you. Okay, and they love to argue. Somebody mentioned this, another woman, I think her man was DL. She said they will argue with you like they will go there with you because they want to have the last word. They will text you back and forth and give you the time of day to argue. Okay? So if a man loves to argue to that point, you know, most men are like, oh, they get mad and they say whatever they want to say and they argue. And you know, people have their moments, but they will literally keep going with it. Okay? They will get with beautiful women to have access to men. So they enjoy, you know, getting with women, for example, on Instagram or whatever, messaging them and kind of getting to know them, not interested in a relationship. They want to get close to them because they want to get access to the men that they're dealing with. So be careful of that. And you can check the following on this and see who they're following. You know, look at the ratio. Okay? If it's way more attractive men, watch out. Okay? And you don't see a lot of women on there, yeah, there's something going on. The other thing is being promiscuous. They love the sex and in different ways, different stuff. Okay, the back door. Okay, very aggressive with it. They just are obsessed with it because literally they want to try so much stuff with you because they are missing out on what they really want. So yes, it's normal to experiment with your partner. I'm not saying that, but they do it to a point where they're literally like having an itch that they can't scratch, like somebody said. So they're just very forceful and very aggressive and trying different things, and they keep pushing certain things on you that you might not be comfortable with. I know you could say no, but it's like you will notice that pattern of they're talking to so many different people. They're unfaithful to you in so many different ways because they're trying to find that thing that they really can't have because they're being secretive. So yeah. Another one that a lot of people brought up is they spend a lot of time with their homies instead of you. They're always out with their homeboys. Homeboy this, homeboy that, they're FaceTiming. It's the homeboys, not you. So if a man is really spending a lot of time with their homeboys like that, late nights with the homeboys, everything's homeboy and not you, I would be careful about that. I had to write things down because there was so much information that I learned. Yeah, so a lot of times, yeah, it's just pretty much, yeah, the homies. They love to argue. They get very defensive and aggressive, you know. And they talk badly about women in their lives, you know. And they just have an issue with women. Women are like a problem to them because they don't want them. They're emotionally detached, you know. And a lot of them don't even have relationships a lot of times. They're just people that are constantly, it's always something. They're in a relationship one day, the next it's done. They move on to the next one, and it's just like they're trying everything to cover up, and it's not working out because I think the people that they're with eventually figure out like, hey, something is up, and leave. So it's questionable when you see a man that's single over for years and years, and they're just having issues. Sometimes it's because really they're looking for men. They don't want a woman, so that's why it's not working out to begin with. So overall, I would just say if you're a single woman that's dating out there, keep in mind that this exists. You know, there's men out there that are living secret lives. The danger is that some of them, you're over here married for years and thinking everything is normal, and they're out there going with other men and putting you at risk. This is where it's really messed up. And also once you do find out, now you have to make plans of getting a divorce and figuring out custody and co-parenting and all this. It messes up homes, you know, in some ways. Because how do you trust this person, you know? And it's just like, it would be nice if people just lived with their true identity instead of hiding, because it just messes up everything else for everybody else. You're in the dating pool, and now that's something you have to keep in mind. It's one thing if somebody says they're bisexual, they'll admit that. That's okay. They let you know that. But if somebody's hiding, it just kind of puts you at another list of things you have to worry about. And I think it's just like, oh my gosh, when I was dating, it wasn't as prevalent because I think a lot of people are not talking about it, but now it's a major issue, and you really have to look out as a woman and just be careful out there.